Hey Internet, today's video is how safe is New Zealand as of 2021. So today I'll just go through the list of crimes that does happen in New Zealand, go through natural disasters, go through war, political system / corruption, and on the right of the screen you can see that the New Zealand Police website, they've posted some PDFs on how to stay safe in New Zealand if you're visiting. Okay, I'm making this video because some of you guys requested it because you're deciding to move to New Zealand / visit New Zealand. Okay, and I'll give you some insight based on 30 years living in New Zealand. So the most common things that you may or may not experience is robberies, depending on where you live, where you visit. I would say that's pretty high up there. If you visit / stay long enough, and if you're not European looking, then you may experience hate speech and racism. That's also very high. Assault and kidnapping. So common assault generally happens at night and when people have been drinking. Not correlation. I guess it's just two things that happen at the same time. Kidnapping, that's very rare. It does happen though. Gun violence, I know that you know that the Christchurch attack happened quite recently, 2 years ago. So, sad to say, it does happen, but the government has tightened rules on assault weapons, and purchasing firearms in New Zealand is quite difficult. You need a firearms license, you need a psychological evaluation, and then a voluntary marksmanship exam. Voluntary, I say. As for assault, so common one is battery. In terms of sexual assault, I'm sure you heard of the famous Tinder strangling that made the headlines. Again, just follow common sense. Just stay safe when you use online dating apps and stuff. Okay, illegal narcotics. So yes, drugs is a thing in New Zealand. So like the low level stuff is like your cannabis. The high level stuff is like your methamphetamines. I'm not sure what's in between. But yeah. So I guess if you're going to festivals and stuff, you'll probably have some hallucinogenics, what have you. So yeah, I would say don't do it. What else can I say? Look, yeah. So basically, illegal drugs related. So crimes related to illegal drugs. It happens. So gang violence. Yep, that would be the third most common, apart from domestic violence, which I didn't put because I guess when you're entering New Zealand and visiting, you're not going to be experiencing domestic violence. You're probably going to experience these, I guess. Okay, so for gang violence, just stay away from gang members. Well, if they're patched. So a patch is basically like them wearing a vest with their gang insignia. I think some regions of the country ban gang patches to reduce gang violence. Okay, so stabbing replaces gun violence because guns are difficult to have in New Zealand, so stabbings are up there. Well, not up there, but it replaces the statistic, I guess. Okay, so in my 30 years, haven't experienced any of these. Like, you can walk in the dark. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can. Like, if you're walking in a lit area at night, you're fine. In terms of guns, New Zealand doesn't really have guns. There's some illegal imports by gangs, obviously, and other collectors, but apart from that, the New Zealand police doesn't even have firearms themselves. The Armed Defender Squad, I guess that would be similar to the Special Weapons and Tactics in the US, the SWAT team. So our armed defenders is similar to that. They are the ones that deal with armed assailants. Alright, so on the right, New Zealand police website, they've basically written a PDF on how to stay safe in New Zealand when you're visiting. And the links will be in the description below. Okay. So you've got your website. This is from the New Zealand government. We'll just, I guess, quickly switch this. So they just talk about, basically they're just trying to sell New Zealand on why you should be visiting. I'll put a link below. Again, this is the PDFs that basically guidelines to keep you safe. Common sense stuff like don't walk alone late at night. What did I just say? Yeah, stuff that you should already know. Okay, here is the homicide report. Here is just an overview of New Zealand crimes. Yeah, so that leads you to this. Okay, again, I will leave this link in the description if you want to check out New Zealand crimes. Alright, so let's get back to natural disasters. So for earthquakes, as you may or may not know, New Zealand is in the Ring of Fire region, which means we have two tectonic plates, the Australasian and Pacific plate, colliding on the, I guess, the east coast of the North Island and the northeast part of the South Island. So we are earthquake prone. And with earthquakes, tsunamis it follows earthquakes. We don't have many tornadoes. It does happen rarely. Waterspouts are more common than tornadoes. We do have lightning storms often in New Zealand. We don't have many volcano eruptions. I know that there has been news coverage of the White Island eruption. However, those eruptions aren't on the main two islands. They're off in a smaller region of New Zealand. They're like islands outside of the two main North and South Island. Meteor strike, that's also rare. And if there was a significant asteroid gonna hit New Zealand, their New Zealand Air Force does not have the capability to stop it at present. Currently, we have the New Zealand Army, which has got mobile SAMs, so surface-to-air missiles, which blowing up asteroids is not a good thing anyways. And our Air Force consists of Hercules and attack helicopters. So we currently don't have anything to prevent meteor strikes or large-scale meteor strikes. So don't even worry about that one. So the main one would be earthquakes. So if earthquake happens, just duck, cover, hold, and once it's stopped, move to higher ground. Alright, so let's move on to war, political systems, there's corruption. New Zealand is a remote island, or islands, so we don't really have any precious resource such as oil. Well, you got some on like the coast of New Zealand, but we don't have anything worth invading over. And it is remote, so I don't think any country wants to invade New Zealand. It takes so much time just to transport their troops over here. So yeah, so you're good to go you're safe from wars from other countries invading New Zealand, let's just say. It's very unlikely they would. The only country that would want to invade New Zealand is Australia, but since we're basically brothers in arms, Anzacs, and we're basically a very similar country, we're basically like a sibling country, basically. Much to most New Zealanders would disagree. They would probably say New Zealand is completely different to Australia, and I would agree also. But in terms of war, it's very unlikely. Corruption, and well, it just depends on how you view the political system. So in New Zealand, it is a democratic type of political system, and depending how your political views are, you may say it's corrupt, or you may say it's very well balanced. Okay, just catching my breath. Alright, so we can look at so from this New Zealand website, New Zealand government website, so here's some countries. You can compare the statistics if you want to. Again, I will leave it in the description. Here is the corruption perception index. We are ranked number 2 for the least corruption. Here is the scale. So 0 to 9 is highly corrupt, and 90 to 100 is very clean. We're at 91. Denmark currently is the number 1 least corrupt country. Okay. Alright. Again, the New Zealand government trying to sell the New Zealand image, how it's clean and safe. I have no objections to that. And again, they talk about gun safety, internet safety, all these things. Okay. So I think we covered everything. Alright. So thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends, ring the bell, turn on all notifications, leave a comment. All the links will be in the description below once again. Until next time, see ya.